He is summoned by imbalance and dissolves when harmony is restored. His name is Zhong Kui, king of ghosts, vanquisher of demons, protector of the cosmic order. But this is no ordinary tale of the ghost slayer. This is a scroll unrolling not only across the parchment of ancient Chinese legend, but across the fabric of Daoist cosmology, where spirit worlds shimmer with quantum possibility and the laws of yin and yang dictate the dance of all things visible and invisible. This is the story of Zhong Kui in the quantum ghost world, a metaphysical journey through Daoist understandings of the cosmos, the afterlife, and the eternal cycles of transformation. It is a scroll that begins in the Tang dynasty, traverses the Daoist heavens, and ends in a field of thought where ancient metaphysics and quantum strangeness echo one another like gongs struck in parallel dimensions. Let us now open this ancient and futuristic scroll and walk with Zhong Kui, not merely as a demon hunter, but as a guardian of the Tao, threading the strands of spirit and matter in a world both real and imagined. The tale begins in the imperial Tang dynasty in the early 8th century, a time when the court of Emperor Xuanzong was both a center of high culture and an arena of intense spiritual anxiety. It was a golden age, yes, of poetry, art, and cosmological speculation, but also a time when the spirit world was ever present in daily life. The boundary between the living and the dead was porous, and restless ghosts were believed to wander freely among the breathing. Zhong Kui's legend is rooted in this cultural soil. According to classical lore, he was an extraordinarily gifted scholar who traveled to the capital, Chang'an, to sit for the imperial examinations. Though his answers dazzled the examiners, his physical appearance, described as grotesque and fearsome, led the emperor to deny him his rightful position. In despair and humiliation, Zhong Kui took his own life upon the palace steps. Moved by Zhong Kui's brilliance and tragic fate, the Yama kings of the underworld recognized a soul of fierce virtue and unyielding righteousness. They appointed him as the king of ghosts, tasking him with hunting down malevolent spirits, rectifying injustices, and maintaining cosmic balance in the realm of the dead. To this day, he is invoked in Daoist rituals and painted on doorways during festivals like Duanwu, the Dragon Boat Festival, to ward off evil spirits. With bulging eyes, thick black beard, and a scowling face, Zhong Kui is both feared and revered, a terrifying figure of compassion whose fury is directed not at humans, but at the forces that seek to unbalance the Tao. But to understand Zhong Kui's role in the deeper metaphysical landscape, we must step beyond the myth and into the Daoist cosmos, a world of layered realities, subtle energies, and ever-shifting transformations. In Daoist cosmology, the universe is not a static structure, but a dynamic process, a ceaseless unfolding of the Tao, the Wei, through patterns of yin and yang, through the 5 phases, wuxing, and through the microcosmic and macrocosmic interplay of qi, the vital energy that flows through all things. The cosmos is structured in layers. The material world, what we call Earth, is merely the middle tier in a triadic model that includes the heavens above and the netherworld below. Each layer is inhabited by beings appropriate to its level of refinement or density: gods and immortals in the heavens, humans in the middle world, and ghosts and demons in the lower realms. Yet these realms are not sealed off from one another. They interpenetrate like overlapping waves, or like quantum fields in modern physics. The Daoist adept learns to navigate these strata through internal alchemy, ritual, and meditative journeying, but figures like Zhong Kui are already fully at home within them, moving across the boundaries with divine authority. In this cosmological vision, ghosts are not merely the souls of the dead. They are dislocated energies, often caught between transformations. Some are victims of untimely death or improper burial. Others are malicious spirits, feeding off human fear and desire. Their presence disrupts the balance of qi and disturbs the harmony of both the living and the dead. Zhong Kui's mission, then, is not merely to banish ghosts as a kind of spiritual exterminator. He is a restorer of balance, a cosmic regulator, a figure who embodies the Daoist principle of rectification, Chong, aligning the energies of the universe when they have spun out of their proper orbit. But to understand the full scope of his work, we must journey into the quantum ghost world, where ancient metaphysics and modern physics begin to echo the same truths. Imagine a world where a particle can be in two places at once, where observation determines reality, where entangled entities communicate across vast distances instantaneously. Welcome to the quantum world, a realm that, while built on the mathematics of modern science, resonates uncannily with the metaphysical landscapes of Daoist thought. In Daoism, reality is not fixed, but processual. Things do not have a permanent essence. They are bundles of qi, constantly transforming in accordance with the Tao. This is strikingly similar to the indeterminacy of quantum particles, where identity is probabilistic rather than absolute. In this light, the quantum ghost world becomes more than a metaphor. It is a thought space, a cosmological mirror in which Zhong Kui's mythic labors can be reinterpreted as operations on the level of pattern, energy, and relationality. Ghosts, in this framework, are not merely spirits of the dead. They are decohered patterns of qi, fragments of consciousness or energy that have lost their harmony with the Tao. Zhong Kui's sword is not a weapon of metal, but an instrument of coherence. When he slays a ghost, he is collapsing a wave function, resolving an indeterminate presence into a restored form, reintegrating it into the rhythmic balance of the universe. He performs a kind of cosmic measurement, not unlike the observer in quantum mechanics, whose gaze resolves potentialities into actualities. Moreover, just as quantum entanglement implies that all things are interconnected beyond space and time, Daoism teaches that all beings are expressions of the Tao's unity. Harm to one is harm to all. Zhong Kui's relentless assault on demonic forces is thus not an act of violence, but of healing, medicine for the soul of the cosmos, administered through the terrifying compassion of a ghost king. In the traditional Daoist view, the ghost world, or youmingjie, is not a singular hellish domain, but a complex bureaucracy of spirits, officials, and karmic courts. It is governed by the 10 kings of hell, Shidian Yanjun, who judge the souls of the dead and assign them to reincarnation, punishment, or transcendence. Zhong Kui operates outside this bureaucracy, an independent agent whose authority comes from the Tao itself, not from the celestial courts. He is the hunter of those who evade judgment, who refuse to pass through the wheel of rebirth, who cling to the world of form with toxic attachment. Daoist rituals involving Zhong Kui use talismans, incantations, and stylized performances to invoke his presence. In these rites, the priest becomes a kind of quantum medium, calling forth Zhong Kui to re-establish order in a haunted space. These rituals are not just performative, they are ontological interventions, altering the structure of reality by aligning it with the Tao. Internal alchemy, Naden, teaches that the ghost world is not only out there, but in here, within the human psyche and subtle body. The alchemical adept must confront their own inner demons, the fragmented aspects of self that resist integration. In this sense, Zhong Kui becomes a symbol of the inner warrior, the sage who slays illusion, rectifies the self, and restores the flow of inner qi. Thus, the quantum ghost world is both cosmological and psychological, metaphysical and physical, ancient and modern. It is the liminal zone, where ghosts are both literal entities and metaphorical patterns, where Zhong Kui's sword cuts through both spectral armies and the knots of human delusion. What does it mean for a being like Zhong Kui to exist? In a Daoist frame, he is not a fixed individual, but a manifestation of a function, the function of rectification, boundary keeping, and karmic enforcement. He is summoned by imbalance and dissolves when harmony is restored. He appears across time like a wave particle, sometimes in the courtly paintings of Song dynasty scrolls, sometimes in the incantations of Daoist priests, sometimes in the dreams of the sick or the haunted. He is a quantum phenomenon of the collective spiritual field, emerging where the need for him is greatest. In this sense, Zhong Kui is eternal, not because he lives forever, but because he recurs, a pattern in the Tao, reborn wherever cosmic entropy threatens to overwhelm order. Like the archetypes of Jungian psychology or the fields of quantum probability, he is timeless yet always timely. He is also a reminder that justice, in the Daoist worldview, is not about punishment, but about balance. He does not destroy demons out of hatred, but out of necessity. He is the wrathful compassion of the Tao, the terrible mercy that prevents collapse into chaos. And so, the scroll closes, for now. We have walked alongside Zhong Kui through legends and rituals, heavens and hells, atoms and ideas. We have seen him not only as a ghost slayer, but as a Daoist archetype, a quantum guardian, a timeless agent of balance. In a world increasingly haunted by its own specters, ecological, political, psychological, the figure of Zhong Kui remains strangely relevant. He teaches us that the ghosts we fear are often the energies we have failed to transform, that the demons we fight are sometimes the shadows we have refused to integrate. And perhaps, most of all, he teaches us that to be aligned with the Tao is to act not out of ego, but out of cosmic necessity, to wield the sword of stillness, to walk the ghost worlds without fear, to be both fierce and compassionate in equal measure. Zhong Kui walks again, not only in haunted temples and painted scrolls, but wherever there is need for balance, for clarity, for the relentless mercy of the way. We end where we began, in the shimmering threshold between worlds. The ink has dried, the scroll is rolled, but the story, like the Tao, flows on.